Machine learning. What is machine learning? Actually, the name machine learning was coined in 1959 by Arthur Samuel, who defined it as field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So, what is machine learning? Basically, when a computer learns without being programmed explicitly, it learns on its own, and then performs certain operations. Then we call it machine learning. Then again, one more definition was there. A computer program is said to learn from experience E with respect to some class of tasks and performance measure if its performance at task in T as measured by P improves with experience E. So I guess you must have heard about machine learning. So what happens is, when suppose you have a model and you are making it learn something, so it goes on through a process of training. There is a data set. There is a set of data which is used to teach the model something. So whatever model is there, it is necessary for us to train the model iteratively. So we train the model for a certain number of times, and then its performance increases. So with every iteration, the performance increases. Then machine learning focuses more on developing programs that teach computers to change when exposed to new data and to grow. Its goal is to understand and follow the methods by using algorithms to do that task automatically without any human assistance. So why do we need machine learning? Because we want computers to do certain tasks without our assistance. We wanted to understand that what the problem is, and we wanted to find the solution on its own. So that's why we try to implement machine learning and teach the computers to do our tasks. So what are the disadvantages of machine learning? Actually, it is not sure that machine learning algorithms will always work for every case. Sometimes the algorithms fail, so it needs to understand the problem at hand to apply machine learning algorithm in the right way. Some algorithms require a lot of data, such as deep learning models. So if you want your program to predict a certain pattern or some traffic pattern at a busy intersection, you can run it through a machine learning algorithm with data about past traffic patterns. And if it has successfully learned it, it will then perform in a better manner than it used to perform previously. So there are three types of machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So supervised is a kind of machine learning which is task driven. So the examples are regression, classification, etc. Then we have unsupervised learning, which is basically dependent on data. So it is data driven. For example, clustering. Then reinforcement learning is algorithm learns to react to an environment. So a certain environment is the algorithm is put into a certain environment, and then it learns how to react to that environment. So that is reinforcement learning. Then there are certain machine learning algorithms like FindS, candidate elimination, artificial neural networks, Bayesian classifier, Bayesian belief networks, k-means, hierarchical clustering, KNN, regression, Q-learning, etc. A lot more. Then these are some data sets available. You can use them, but the more important part is what are the types of data that can be used for our machine learning model. So data can be basically classified into two parts: numerical and categorical. So categorical data means which has some certain answers, like for example, yeah, you can see marital status here, so it is either married or unmarried or something like that. So it has certain answers, so it can be categorized based on those answers. So that is categorical data. Then we have numerical data. In numerical data, we have discrete and continuous data. So discrete data means when it is either like uh, the data can be counted. It is a certain it is a certain like individual data is there, and it is not in a manner that can be measured, or like that it is counted, not measured. So that is discrete data. Then we have continuous data, which is measured, say temperature or weight or voltage or anything like that. And for discrete, we can take number of children or defects per hour, as you can see. Then we come to the definition of categorical data: a variable whose values are not numerical in nature. So gender, male, female, then religion, motivation level, etc. Types of categorical data can be nominal, ordinal, and yeah, that's all for this one. So a nominal variable is basically whose values are not in order, and ordinal variable is whose values are in order. So then we can see this is also categorical data. So this is some kind of data that is basically used in decision trees. So when you see that there are certain specified answers for outlook: sunny, overcast, rain. These three are there, and only these three are used over time, or over whatever condition is there. Then for temperature also there are specific answers. So based on these answers, the model is classified, or it is categorized, and the decision is made. Then we have numerical data. It can have any numerical values. We can also have age in that, temperature. Then you can see here petal length, width, and all that. Then we come to training and testing. So the first thing, the first model which we'll be doing is linear regression model. It is a technique to fit points to a line. So you must have done this equation when you were in class 8th or maybe 7th. So y is equal to mx plus c. So m is basically the slope, and you can understand all that. A model is something to which, when you give an input, gives an output. So just like any other program, a model also takes input and gives output. In machine learning, any object created after training from an algorithm is a model. So for example, SVM model, random forest model, maybe something using decision trees, etc. Then some data sets are easily trained, that is, they take less time to train, but the data sets whose size is large can take very large time to train on a local machine, even with GPU. So we basically know that there is some kind of data. For example, linear regression models usually use that kind of data which are easily trained. But some other models can take a lot of data, and to execute those or to train that huge amount of data, we need a lot of time. Then store trained models so that it can be used anytime in the future. So we should always store our trained models. So we can also use a scikit to store our model. So suppose we have a pickle string. So pickle string, powerful algorithm. It is basically a powerful algorithm for serializing and deserializing a Python object structure. So pickle is very useful where you want to save them to be able to make new predictions at a later time without having to rewrite everything or train the model all over again. So basically with pickle we can easily save our model, and we don't need to train it again and again. Then SAV is the file extension used for the saved data, saved date or data of statistical package for social sciences. So SPSS is used for statistical analysis, initially released in 1968. It was purchased by IBM in 2009. Then SAV files contain binary data which can only be used on the platform that created the file. So you need to remember that when we are saving the SAV files, we can only use that data on the same platform on which we created that file. Then we'll try to make a machine learning model here. So this is we are using sklearn to import the models. So first we are importing pandas here, and then we are from sklearn we are importing model selection. Then from sklearn.linear model we are importing logistic regression. Then we import pickle to save our model. So from using the URL, we simply get the data which we want. So here in this case we have Indians diabetes data. So the names, we have taken some names: preg, plus, press, skin, test, mass, all of that. Then from the URL, which is a CSV file actually. So from the CSV file we read that data and save it as the data frame. So then we take the values of the data frame and import them into an array. So now this is in the next line we are doing a slicing operation. So what we are doing is, in X we are taking all the values of all the rows, and in uh, in in X we are taking from the array we are taking all the rows, but only 8 columns, which is from 0 to 7, because 8 is excluded. And in Y we are taking all the rows of the 8th column. So test size can be 0.33 here, seed is 7. Then we take 4 variables: x train, x test, y train, y test, and we take model selection dot train test split. Then xy test size, we give test size there, and random state as seed. This will tell you that we have to fit the model on 33%. Then we take the model as logistic regression, and we fit the model with x train and y train. Then we save the model to the disk. So we take a file and finalized model .sav, we save that using that name. Then we use pickle to save it. So pickle model open file name and wb. So wb will basically save it, and since we are using dump, so dump means we will be saving the model into the system. So then we again load the model using pickle.load. So we take loaded model is equal to pickle.load. Then we open the file name with rb, which is basically for read binary, and this pickle and wb is for write binary. Then in the result we just simply take the loaded model and score it, we use the test data set, which is x test, y and y test. So we check the model using x test and y test, and then we print the result. So this will print the accuracy of the model, you can say. So here also you can see that after saving the model to pickle, we are simply just after some time, we are just not at the same time we are not loading the model, we are loading it sometime later. Then we come to the data preparation process. The more disciplined you are in your handling of data, the more consistent and better results you are likely to achieve. So if we are disciplined in our data handling part, then we will get a better result. So you should know that before analyzing or making a model or using the data anywhere, the pre-processing of data is done. So the process of getting data ready for a machine learning algorithm can be summarized in 3 steps: select data, pre-process data, and transform data. So now here we can follow these 3 steps to make our data ready for the machine learning algorithm. You can follow this process in a linear manner, but it is very likely to be iterative with many loops. So it is not necessary that once you do all these 3 steps, then your data will be ready. Sometimes you have to, after transformation, again you have to pre-process, then again transform, then again pre-process, and maybe you have to again select data, like you have to remove some other not so useful data from your data set. So that can be done again and again. Then what is pre-processing data? Pre-processing step is about getting the selected data into a form that you can work with. It involves formatting, cleaning, sampling. So formatting of the data is that the data you have selected may not be in a format that is suitable for you to work with. So suppose you have a certain data, and it has some other format, like the data is stored in some other format than you want it to use. Then what you do, you do formatting of the data and change it to the format which is suitable for you. Then we come to cleaning. Cleaning data is the removal or fixing of missing data. So sometimes by mistake or human error or by choice, some people suppose we are filling a survey form and some of the fields are left blank, so that is the missing data in that particular data set. So the removal and fixing of this data is called cleaning. We can use certain methods like taking the average of the all the values, and if the value is nominal and not numerical, then we can maybe put NA there, or maybe we can just remove the entire row. Then we come to sampling. There may be far more selected data available than you need to work with. So more data can result in much longer running times for algorithms and larger computational and memory requirements. So that's why you should always select or maybe filter the data before using the data directly into your model. Then we come to performance. Most of the times we use classification accuracy to measure the performance of our classification model. So a classification accuracy formula is used to measure the performance of your classification model. So accuracy is the number of correct predictions by total number of predictions made. So accuracy is equal to TP plus TN by TP plus TN plus FP plus FN. So it is basically true prediction and like basically TP and TN is basically when you are doing a true positive or true negative value you are getting, and FP and FN is basically false positive and false negative. So confusion matrix describes the complete performance of the machine learning model. So there is this one thing called confusion matrix which describes the whole performance of the model, and a confusion matrix is a technique for summarizing the performance of a classification algorithm. So this matrix is it summarizes the performance of the algorithm. Then this is how a confusion matrix looks like. So actual positives, then predicted positives, this is the column, and then actual negative, predicted positive, these are the false positives. Then we have predicted negative, actually positive, we have false negative here. Then like that, this is the main confusion matrix. So it will show you how many number of false negatives and false positives are there, then how many numbers of true positives and true negatives are there. So precision and recall. What proportion of positive identifications was actually correct? So precision is basically true positive by true positive plus false positive. So positive identifications were actually correct. How many positive identifications were actually correct? That is precision. Then a model that produces no false positives has a precision of 1. So the precision can be between 0 and 1. The highest precision possible is 1. And what proportion of actual positives was identified correctly? So now this is called recall. So recall is the true positives by true positive plus false negative. So false negative means that they were actually positive but they were predicted as negative. So from the actual positives, what is the proportion of the positives which were identified correctly? So now true positives were identified, which means recall is true positives divided by the sum of true positive and false negative. Improving precision typically reduces recall and vice versa. Then you can see here also what is precision. Basically the sum of these two values is precision, true positive plus false positive here as in the denominator, and only true positive in the numerator. Then the first column shows the denominator of recall. So here we have true positive plus false negative in the denominator, and in both the cases you will have true positive in the numerator. Then accuracy is nothing, you have to just take the true values and divide it by all the values. So there are two true values, true positive and true negative, and there are total 4 values: true positive, false negative, true negative. So just divide it by sum of all the values and you just have to add the true values. Then what is F1 score? F1 score is used to measure a test's accuracy. F1 score is the harmonic mean dividing the number of observations by the reciprocal of each number in the series. So this is something between the precision and recall. The range of F1 score is also between 0 to 1. It tells you how precise your classifier is. So how many instances it classifies correctly, as well as how robust it is, which means it does not miss a significant number of instances. So the formula for F1 score can be 2 into precision into call divided by precision plus recall. So basically it is nothing but you can see this formula here. It is 1 upon 1 by precision plus 1 by recall, and this whole thing multiplied by 2. So whichever is better for you, learn it in that manner, but it is basically the same thing. Then we have this is an example where predicted A, gold level A 30, gold level B 20, gold level C 10. So predicted A, then we have predicted B and predicted C here. So then we have total predicted A, total predicted B, total predicted C, and similarly we have also total gold label ABC. So precision for label A can be true positive of A, total predicted of A, no, this is true positive only, sorry. So true positive of A divided by true positive of A plus false positive of A. This is the precision. So you can say that it can be total predicted as A. So we can take that this 30, this can be 30 by 60 because the total predicted are 60. So 30 by 60, 0.5. Then recall for label A is true positive of A divided by true positive plus false negative of A. So this is the total gold for A. So we can say that true positives is still 30, and then we have total 100 gold label A. So we have 0.3 as the recall. Similarly, we'll do for precision for label B, then recall for label B, and similarly we could have done for gold label C, but we are just moving forward. So in if there is such a table, then you know that only the values with the same number of row and column is the true positive. So this 0, 0, if there is a known class D, then 0, 0 is the true positive. Then here we have true negative, true negative, true negative, true negative. Then all the in the 0th column we have all the false positives except for the first one. Then apart from the I, indexes, we have everywhere false negative. So this true negative will take up the diagonal. So you can see here that the diagonal elements are marked in bold, and this this provides the, then this column accuracy provides the specific accuracy for each key. Now this 1, 1 is the true positives and all rest of them are true negatives. Then all these values are false negatives, all the values except for the first column, all these 1, 2, 3, 0, 0, these values are the false positives. Okay, so true positive, false negatives, and true negatives, these are true negatives, or true negatives, and all of the rest values are false negatives. Then I think this is all for this video. Thanks a lot for watching.